What's good, everybody? Ace of all trades here. Hope you guys have been having a wonderful and blessed day. We are finally here for the review of all reviews, The Last of Us Part 2. But before we get into the review, we gotta introduce the guys that beat the game. You know, people that actually play games that beat games. First of all, let me go ahead and say what's up to the man, Anon. Say what up to the people, bruh.
Yo, I'm back from the dead.
True.
Niggas gonna, hey, listen, man. You know what they're gonna say.
I know.
Hey, bro,
Where you been? Where you been?
Yeah, y'all know where I'm at.
Right. Got you.
On TV.
You okay?
ABA 9.
Right. What up? Say what up, Chaos.
Yo, I'm a big fan of G. I appreciate y'all letting me be on this video today.
Wow.
Oh, you welcome. You know, charity.
Yo, man. Y'all start this video crazy. The one, the only, TheBlackHokage. Say what up.
Yo, head on over to gamersubs.gg and use code TBH to check out.
Oh shit, we didn't flex.
What's good with everybody? Yo, GI got merch. Make sure to cop that. Designedbyhumans.com. Search Gaming Illuminaughty. Cop a shirt, bitch.
All right. And last and certainly not least, UtxJGTheDon. Say what up, my guy.
Shit, now that you mentioned TVH, I'm drinking some gamer stuff right now. What's up? It's good.
Hey. Oh, TBH, let's go.
Here. And if y'all are nice, give me some subs. You might get a preview of our new design. I'm just saying.
Hey, y'all know what that means.
So you saying they can catch that at the GI Patreon?
Big facts.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyways, you guys, let's go ahead and get into it. I know this has been long overdue, but we were just waiting on JG to finish. Now that JG is finished, the five of us are going to go ahead and discuss when it comes to The Last of Us Part 2. I'm saying this now because you know a lot of people in the comment section don't read titles or anything. We are discussing spoilers. So if you have not beaten the game yet, but you want to listen to what we got to say, pause the video, beat the game, and then come back to it. Bookmark it, all of that. Be sure to leave a
just
like.
watch the video.
Make sure to hit the like button though before you leave.
Yeah, exactly. Be sure to hit the like button. So this is what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to go down the line. I want you guys to each tell us what your first impressions of everything is first, and then we'll start going into detail. Because I know the big three, Ethos, JG.
Impressions? This is a review.
Well, you can just give what your thoughts about it, your initial thoughts of everything so far from the beating of the game, and we'll go down the line.
Also, just because we haven't done this in a while and you didn't state this, at the end of this video, everybody's going to give their official score, and then we're going to average it out, and that's the official GI score. So stay to the end of the video.
That's going to be tough.
Man, that may trigger some of y'all. We kind of heard the big three, but Chaos has actually been making a lot of like noise on Twitter about everything. So I want to hit him up first. What's your thoughts about The Last of Us Part 2, Chaos? Let the people know why you were so upset, please.
All right, so when I first played it in the beginning, it's fine. You know, the beginning's fine. First half's fine, whatever. So I will say my opinion has changed a little bit over the past like couple days that I've had sit time after beating it. But for the most part, it didn't really give me much story wise, but gameplay, it was solid. I don't want to give too much into like spoilers right now. So I mean that's all I gotta say right now.
Okay. Anon, you were going crazy in the DMs, feeling like you were by yourself. Well, let the people know what you thought.
So first and foremost, I would like to say before I state my opinion, that is my opinion. I don't care what none of y'all have to say. I don't care what nobody else. I fuck with y'all, but I don't care what nobody else in this video have to say.
I mean, hostile already, dude.
The Last of Us. I blocked Joel, Ellie, all that on Twitter. I didn't read the leaks. I waited, bought the game, finished it before I went on Twitter, and I have my opinion. And my opinion is y'all niggas tripping. Period. If you don't like,
just for clarification, when you say y'all, are you talking about GI or just the internet as a whole?
The internet. Everybody who was like, oh, this is the worst game, they ruined it, they fucked it up, blah, blah, blah. You niggas don't pay attention. Like, I kind of question your comprehension skills as far as, like, understanding themes and really, what did you expect? To be completely honest with you, I understand if people were like, "Oh, we don't like it because it was a slight downgrade from what we saw in the trailer, the gameplay trailer, as opposed to like the actual gameplay." But people were really mad about the story and about certain characters and their fates, and nobody's been able to give me an actual strong reason as to why the writing that they feel like is bad, because every counter that I've gotten was like, oh, this character wouldn't do this character wouldn't do that. I've been able to counter it very easily. Like, so I don't know, I think niggas are tripping. I don't think it's the amazing game that, you know, everybody really wanted it to be, but I mean, it's a solid sequel. I like, it's a fun game. It has some good like narrative moments. It has some very strong action moments, and I mean, it expands upon the first one. What did y'all niggas want? Where else could the story have gone? Like, please.
Well, all right.
All right, I feel you.
I got you on all those.
All right, go ahead, Chaos.
Oh no, let everybody speak before we start
bet.
fucking arguing.
All right, boss man, go ahead.
I actually agree with Anon, believe it or not, about the whole internet backlash thing. It's one of those things I'm glad I played it for myself, because if you listen to the internet, you listen to Reddit, you would have thought this game was like a 1 or 2 out of 10. Like, it was the worst thing ever. And that's not the case. Like, after playing it, like, I still didn't like the game, but it's not as bad as everybody says. If anything, this game was just kind of a disappointment to me. I put it in the same bracket as like Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, we waited like 7-8 years for this game, and in my opinion, it wasn't worth the wait. And if anything, all this game did was prove my original point that I said, like, in my after The Last of Us 1, I don't think there shouldn't have been a sequel. Like, kind of to counter what Anon was saying, well, what else did you want? They shouldn't have made a sequel. I thought the ending to The Last of Us 1 was great. And they should have just left it alone. They should have left their art alone. And this is what happens when you try to make something out of nothing. They should have just left whatever. They created something and they should have moved on. That's my opinion.
Okay. JG?
Yeah, so going into this with the internet already seeing the leaks, it was very hard to, you know, have a different opinion going into it. Like, cause it kind of sucks. Like, even though I clearly don't care about anyone else's opinion until I play it or watch it myself, it was still hard going into it. But like we said on the podcast, I also agree with TBH and Anon. I think that the internet just got a little bit too crazy with their initial reactions to it before they played the game. But after actually finishing it, I can see why people were still upset. But I still don't agree that they should have, you know, gave the game so much backlash and went around and review bombing it and stuff like that, because I don't agree that they should do that for any piece of content. But I don't think that, you know, after 7 years, like TBH said, that I got the full satisfaction of playing part 2 when we were all waiting for it for so long. The Last of Us, like I said, you know, when that game came out, that was my game of the year, but I cannot say, you know, definitively that this is my game of the year. I don't think that we got our full share of, you know, getting a part 2 or a sequel, whatever you want to call it. I think that they probably could have just left this in the drafts or worked on it a little bit longer to fine polish it, because I just didn't get that same satisfaction that I did playing the first one.
Okay.
I think this is what happens when business influences art. Like I said, I like the ending to the original game, but, you know, Sony and Naughty Dog, they wanted to make money, and a lot of people were clamoring for more, because this is also falls on the fans. They wanted a sequel. And this is what you got. This is what you got. You should have left it alone, in my opinion. I thought that the original ending was a very human ending. You may have not liked it, but it wasn't happy, and it was very human, and they should have just left it at that.
Okay. Well, I mean, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
A9.
Well, I was just gonna kind of say to piggyback off that too. Like, it's crazy how I guess unwarranted the backlash was when you really look at the ending of the first Last of Us, and you think, okay, what logically is the next thing that would happen? The Last of Us 2 makes a lot of sense.
Right. Do you think like everybody's just going to get away scot-free? Like, you're still living and there are still people who are upset at your decisions.
I mean, let's flip it around, right? So if the first Last of Us wasn't centered around Joel and Ellie, it was centered around Abby and her father, you would not, well, let me not say you, because I can't speak for y'all, but I'm saying most of the people on the internet wouldn't really have the same opinion that they do. because I saw a lot of people's concerns was really, obviously we're gonna get into spoiler territory now. Joel's death and how he died, but that all made sense.
Right.
No,
I mean,
it did.
yeah,
it did.
It made sense.
No, it definitely did. Before we go into it, let me give my opinion on everything. And I hate to be the person to be like, oh, well, I agree with this because, you know, apparently, you know, we all agree with everything because we're yes men. But what you guys are saying is true. That backlash on how
we don't get into the disagreements.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely.
I'm holding back right now.
But you know how a lot of people are, like, on the internet. So I'm just putting it out there. But yes, the backlash of the internet, I mean, it's the internet at the end of the day. So I don't know, we shouldn't be surprised. And I think that a lot of the things that, because I was actually one of those people that was able to stay away from the spoilers, but getting to certain points in the story, I understand why people were upset about how it necessarily went, but I think it was because a lot of people have so much emotional ties to certain characters that they're just like, yo, no matter how it is, I'm riding with this characters. Like, it got to the point of when the actress was getting death threats because of how the story was written. Like, are you serious? Like, it's not even, yo, y'all gotta relax. It's just a video game. Y'all taking this to, like, somebody, like, took your mama's food or something like that, and she ain't gonna be able to eat for a year or something. Like, they put their hands on her. Like,
yeah, that's why I say people's fandoms, like, sometimes gets a lot, like, too much out of control.
Exactly. Now, it's nothing wrong. Like, look, I, like anybody else, enjoys a good story, and there's nothing wrong with having some type of emotional ties with a character, especially if the story continues to grow and you see that character development. But at the same time, if they want to change it up, they have every right to. It ain't your game. You can voice your opinion. You can state how you feel, but you don't have to send death threats to these actors and actresses and these voice actresses and whatnot. It's not that serious. It's just a game. It's just a game. But let's go ahead and start getting into it. We kind of brought it up earlier. Anon said stuff about with Joel. Were y'all shocked? And do you think they deserve it? And I'm gonna go first. I think he deserved it. He had it coming. The reason why I say that, I think that Joel deserved it. I know a lot of people actually had a problem with it. They were like, oh man, that's not the Joel for 4 years back and everything. Jackson softened Joel. That's what it was. He already he's getting of older age. You already saw how he started to fall for Ellie, of course, because of what happened to his daughter in the first game and everything like that. And then, of course, he was always...
Fall for is a weird way to explain.
I guess not necessarily fall for. I mean, it's just in a daughter-like way. He felt like that Ellie was his daughter.
Like his daughter.
Right.
No, it wasn't like... And that's why we saw some type of issues at the beginning of the story when Ellie and, you know, the thing with Hodina, and then with one of the guys over at Jackson, like, oh, you lesbian, or, you know, we're not going to say the word
at
that
the end
of
the game.
Yeah, the flashback I get at the end of the game, which, you know, the pacing of the story
belongs to the streets.
Yeah, pretty much. But, you know, it was one of those things that Joel had it coming. He was getting older, and I'm gonna be real with you. If I was Abby and you did that to my father, I want to come at you crazy too. Go ahead, TBH. Go ahead.
What's the name? So I initially thought that people were upset that just Joel died, but then, like, after reading, a lot of people were upset at how some people were upset that he died.
It was how he died.
Yeah, to those people, I would, because it was like 50-50. To the people who were just upset that he died, I would ask, like, you're surprised like somebody betrayed humanity and got killed. And like one of the arguments was that he shouldn't have died because they had like notes from the Fireflies saying that the experiments failed. And I'm like, the way pharmaceuticals work, you have to experiment in order to. That's why, like, till this day, you can go and get experimented on for like $4,000 or $5,000 to test drugs and stuff like that. It's not going to always work. They have to run trials. She could have been the one to actually cure things. So like, that's my counter argument. Like, the sacrifice still had to be made, in my opinion. So that's why people were super upset with Joel. But most people were arguing they were upset at how he died. And like further, like thinking about it, I can understand, because like you even said it yourself, Ace, like Joel was getting older. Like that doesn't change the fact. I think he was like only like 50, 60. His mind was still fine. It still doesn't change the fact that he let his guard down so easy. I even questioned that when I was playing it.
Jackson,
like Abby just shows up and he just let her tag along like that after things calmed down a little bit.
Everything
he
was kind of
too trusting. It didn't match his character. It didn't make sense. I can understand if he was like 80 and decrepit and he wasn't thinking straight, but
Jackson softened him, bro. That's what it was.
It's been a few years since I'll give him that.
It's more than that. Okay, so a few years, a lot can change in a few years.
Facts, a lot can
like
change.
All of you know that. That's one. Two, the type of settlement that Jackson is a trader post.
Yeah,
you know
that's what I was about to say too. You know,
we don't know too much about the state of America at this point, but everybody who's basically surviving seems to be somewhat settled. Like there's conflicts here and there, but it's basically like the world. You know what I'm saying? And Jackson seemed to be a trader,
it was a new world order.
settler,
There's factions everywhere.
And the whole thing behind it is like it wasn't just like, oh, who are you? Let me trust you. It was they had just gone through a life or death situation together and they couldn't go back to Jackson. They had to go up to the cabin and blah, blah, blah. And they just saved this girl's life. So they weren't expecting like, oh yeah, like she's gonna fucking murder us or some sort of crazy shit like that. So it's definitely very believable. Also on top of that, the stress of just what they just went through and the weather conditions and everything like that, like you can definitely let your guard down for a split second and be like, and it wasn't even Joel, it was Tommy. Tommy was like, I'm Tommy, this is my brother Joel. Y'all can talk about Joel not letting his guard down, but Tommy
they were still both hunters. I mean, they could use that.
Yeah,
excuse,
but Tommy's a little bit softer than Joel. Tommy already was at a settlement before in the first game, before Joel showed up.
Right.
He has a wife. Like he has more to lose. Like I don't know. Like I just feel like I could
that
still
could go both ways. I still agree with you, but
yeah,
for them, I think
either way.
That's a big what if, because like I've lived in bad environments and I've lived in good, and it's like I'm still always looking.
You're always you're always gonna have that.
Commented at E3, he's like, "Yo, you always look." That's right. I'm always looking left.
Yeah,
and right.
that's.
I don't know if that's
you take that shit with you.
I don't believe people change at their core just because. Because also the counter argument to that would be is in the first game, Joel was living in civilization with what was the chick that died before he met Ellie, the one that introduced him to the Firefly.
Yeah.
Tess. Yeah, he was living in civilization with Tess, and it was relaxed. He was still on edge. Like it doesn't match his personality. He just out of nowhere changed.
It was different because it
was controlled by the military, and like it was a lot crazier. Jackson seems like an actual peaceful like settlement and haven.
Trying to get
like
to
shit doesn't really
normal.
go down.
Yeah, because
it's 50-50. I think.
I'll say this. I wish this is one of those things where I wish they would have had more time with, because let's say because they mentioned it in like one line at the end of the game where he says about the coffee thing. Oh, I traded this for coffee, and you wouldn't believe. And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, they trade with people.
Yeah.
Right. But that's one of my issues that I wish in the beginning of the game they would have spent more time on with Jackson. So maybe like if Joel, and you go out and you trade with somebody, and something in the story where it takes more time for you to be like, oh, okay, so it's pretty safe. He's trustworthy. Because then when we get to that scene, that's where the confusion starts, because nobody's like, oh shit, like he just trusts people.
That goes into pacing, and that's one of the areas that I will agree with you and everybody else that like I can understand where people have problems with the story is sometimes pacing and the direction. Because if you
sometimes,
well, I'm saying
that was the entire game.
If you would have done all that shit in Jackson that you were just talking about, chaos, people would have said the same thing. They would have been like, "Oh, this is boring."
No, because you could. I was saying that you could take some of the things that was in the back end of the game, and you could inject the Jackson stuff. Because my thing, because what I was interested, I don't know about y'all, but I was more interested like, like they have a place now. Like I wonder if they had to fight people or like the trading system. Something like that. I thought there was gonna be more into Jackson's side of things, because this was the first time that they were in. Well, not the first time, but like they were like getting well developed and shit. I was more.
If they really wanted to prove that Joel got soft while they were still in Jackson in the beginning, they could have spent more time. Like the only thing was like the awkward scene where he was what's her name was playing guitar with Ellie. They could have spent more. They could have gave Joel like a girlfriend. He's like booed up with her. They're cooking, like just to show that
they had a concept.
The execution.
They definitely had. Here's the thing. It's weird because like I understand people's frustration and I see where they're coming from, but I feel like they did just enough that you could say it could have gone this way. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see it going either way. He could have let his guard down, he could have not. But like I feel like there is enough evidence there to be able to be like he could have let his guard down.
I do think a lot of people rush through this game Because like people were making it seem like my playthrough was really long, and I'm like, how did y'all like? Apparently, like Sensei CJ beat it like in one sitting, like in 12 hours or some shit like that.
That
like,
means
he
didn't
loot.
How
the did you do that? Like,
he didn't loot He didn't loot anything. He just went straight through the story.
I won't lie.
That could fall on the viewer just being too excited.
It takes away a lot of context.
Yeah, you have to really take your time and read shit and like actually pay attention to the game, because just like the first story, I would expect that them niggas don't hold your hand. You know what I'm saying? There's context clues that you have to pick up on and things like that you know allude to other things.
No, so, that's true.
I feel like people were playing it too fast.
And we have to put it out there too that this is Naughty Dog's longest game. They did this on purpose. They made it so
barely. I won't say it's like they're like super.
I'm saying
it's like 5 hours longer or some shit.
Well,
it's a bit longer than it needed to be. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Exactly. No, absolutely.
It needed to be 12 to 15 hours. It did not need to be 30. It was 30.
Because you still got to throw in, because like how most of us probably played the game, we didn't just go straight through the story. We made sure that we looted everywhere. I mean, if you played the Last of Us,
I was reading notes, unlocking safe.
Yep, same.
You gotta get them gears. You gotta get everything.
Well, yeah, cheating.
Oh yeah, that's right. I googled it.
But as far as kind of sticking towards everything was going on.
Hold on, because you didn't even.
Yeah, hold on.
Hold on. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Let's talk about the first subject. So yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Wayne on the TBH about the fact that it was weird, like how people were upset at how he died. I just want to note though, like during that situation, again, it was a lot going on, but they were also outnumbered. So I don't think a lot of people bring that into account. Let's say, you know, if everybody was on their guard, if Joe, Ellie, and Tommy were on their guard, you know, you may have gotten away with maybe killing one or two people, but do you think you honestly would have survived big burly ass Abby on your head? Like, do you see what she did? So I still think that like when it happened, everybody was reacting. Like in my chat, I was like, okay, Joe died. It happened. Do you see what the situation is around here? And then on top of that, you know, everybody else was about to get clapped too. But somebody got saved, like, and that's we'll get on that later. But like,
I actually didn't understand that part either.
But yeah, I don't understand it at all.
I understand what part?
Why Ellie and Tommy got spared? Yeah, why they got spared?
So, check that out. So this is something that I also saw people have issue with. So when you get to that point in the game where it replays that scene and you actually hear what they're talking about, and you kind of pay. This is another problem I had. I feel like people were so mad at Abby for what she did or whatever the fuck that they didn't really pay attention to her story. I knew that shit was gonna happen to Joel. To be completely honest with you, I was like,
we all did. I think everyone going into Last of Us 2.
You know what? Half a brain.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's a revenge story. Yeah, it's a revenge story.
It was two revenge stories in one.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, it's like Joel's probably gonna die because that's what they were pushing it as marketing wise. So I was like, okay, I know there's a revenge story, so Joel probably died because you're playing as Ellie. So, I'm sorry. What the fuck?
That's how I felt at the end of the game.
I got something to add about Joel's death. Because I knew he was gonna die because of I was spoiled from leaks. This is one of those things that I didn't even search for. Just JG knows I get spoiled and everything, so it doesn't matter. But I wasn't mad. I was just like, when I had got spoiled, I was like, whatever. I'll see what happens. I watched it. I still wasn't mad because I don't have a big emotional tie to Joel. Do I like him? Yeah, but do I care that he died? No, because I saw it coming. But to the people getting mad about how he died or why he died, then that's actually a good thing, because that scene is not supposed to go for the the heart of making you sad and making you like oh damn, he was a hero. No, like they kill him, and then they are making you feel for revenge, like you want to kill Abby now.
Joel is a villain, I could argue.
But yeah, all right. So I remember what I was saying. So Abby, during her whole story, if you pay attention, is actually very compassionate.
Very.
Like she's ruthless because that's the way the world is. But like in her, like I said, if you were to play the game only from her perspective and everything was flipped, and Ellie and Joel were who killed her dad and blah blah blah, and that was the first Last of Us, you would understand, because she was the one, like her and I think the nigga's name is Owen, were the ones that were like, yeah, like let them live. It has nothing to do with them. It's just about Joel because like he's the one that fucked up the world, and it's like, and the whole thing her squad was telling. Yeah, and her squad was telling her like, nah, don't let them live. It's like they're, you know what I'm saying, they will come after you. But she was like, nah, like
what?
No, but she was like, nah, like just let it go, because
it was like I would put that more on the squad, not her. Especially what happens like there, at the end.
Ramirez did kind of pull Abby back. I don't know the name, but you know the Hispanic dude that was like her right hand.
Danny.
And then the girl
Danny, sorry, Danny, not Manny.
Yeah, then the girl she ends up fighting with towards the end, she saves her from killing off Dina. So Abby does show it way more.
Exactly, she shows,
especially towards the end.
And I mean, the theme of this game is forgiveness. The cycle of violence will destroy everything in your life, and like it'll take everything from you. Yeah. Like they say, those who go after revenge dig two graves or something like that. Like revenge,
yeah,
right.
Like revenge, exactly. Revenge is bad.
All right.
Yeah, that was the end. Revenge is bad. Very, very deep. Very deep.
And to be honest, I would call this game not Last of Us 2. I would call it Revenge.
No facts.
The game was bad, so it should be called Revenge.
Oh, not. Nah, man, I'm not calling this game.
No. I'll tell you why. Because like going into a revenge theme, it becomes almost a slippery slope. Because in every other game, you kill an NPC or something, right? You kill the villain. If we would get this story a lot more, or like if you were to think that the villain's son is gonna come after you, like I hate that shit in movies. Have you all seen Bad Boys? Have you all seen the movie Bad Boys?
Yes, yeah. Bad Boys
they have something like that going on, where the son comes and tries to kill one of the Bad Boys dudes. So I don't like that.
I feel you on that. I feel like if they were gonna do another Last of Us, they really shouldn't have focused on Joel and Ellie. They maybe should have had them pop up for a cameo or something like that. But the world is interesting enough that we can get new characters.
Right.
I don't know if the world's interesting enough. Do I like the world of Walking Dead? No. It's there.
Yeah, the world is definitely not interesting. That's fine.
All right, but the writing is good enough that they could have written new characters in a new situation and blah blah blah, and it would have worked out. Because honestly, I feel like that civil war between the Seraphites and the Wolves was actually pretty.
That shit was interesting.
Well, that goes back to pacing. Like this is better driven by cutscenes and like action sequences, like set pieces, not by a lot of just drifting around in the open world trying to figure out where you're going. Most of the game felt like a Steam early access survival game. It was boring.
In the beginning,
I'm not saying that.
You had to like use the map to try and get around. I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Nah.
I enjoyed a little bit more of the first part.
Really, I hated that.
Then most. I won't say it's better than the second, but I liked it a little bit more because it's like an open world game. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. But then it starts going more linear as you go on.
I feel like but let's get back on the specific topics. Go ahead, Ace.
Okay, so we kind of already leaned into it about the pacing and everything. So do we all agree that the pacing of this game was pretty bad? I mean, when it hit. It was fun. It was exciting. It was exhilarating as far as action and stuff goes. But then when you had a lot of that, you had a huge gap of flashbacks and going back from 4 years, then going back to 4 months, then going back to the present, and then you switch back and forth. I mean, I think we're all in agreeing that the pacing of this game was just terrible, right? I think we can all agree on that, correct?
It was.
The pacing was bad.
It left room for right. Because I could still. It's terrible if I can't follow the story. I could still follow the story, but it was just harder.
Bro,
so
it was
bad.
There was 2 to 3 different times in the game you thought the game was over with, bruh.
I had people coming to my chat. I had to make sure to tell them, we're in a flashback right now. Right now in the present, we're actually in the theater, waiting to beat somebody up.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was Yeah, there's 2 times where I thought the game was gonna end. I thought when Abby caught her, I thought that was gonna be it, and then I thought when
There's like 3 times.
It's
Yeah.
3 times we in California.
Yeah, it was
I was like,
far
damn,
too
they
many.
I thought I had it. I was like, yo, let's get this review popping. 2 hours
what made
later, I'm
it
like,
feel
dang.
like the game was going on too long because
I feel like y'all are arguing
at the end of the
different
game,
things. Though. You guys are arguing execution in which the story is told. To me, pacing is like how the actual game flows. Like
It didn't flow well.
That takes off the flow of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
If you take off so basically at the half point you switch to Abby, right? So now the flow it's cut off and now you're back to square one.
yeah, I guess because it's so story driven. This is one of those times where it ties together. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So back to square one. Even with the weapon upgrades I didn't like. Then she has to upgrade and now she.
Yeah, Abby's.
Yeah, no, I like the weapons.
Abby's missions were better.
I love the weapons.
He didn't like doing it over.
Why the fuck does she not have a shiv? Why do I have to upgrade her?
She's strong. You see them shoulders?
Nah.
That bitch is in the gym.
It doesn't matter. I fully agree with Chaos on that. Fully
so
agree.
Like the shiv stuff.
Nah, but the shiv was annoying though, because you did start out the game and you're using Ellie and she has a knife and it makes it a lot easier. So it kind of
Abby has a fucking flamethrower, but she can't bring a knife to the.
But she got
and the
guns.
flamethrower is trash. I'm not gonna lie, its flamethrower is pretty trash.
It was cool.
It
was trash in the first game.
I used it effectively. It was fine with me.
Yeah, but I think that's what I think of pacing. Because I have to start back at square one.
Gotcha. Can we talk about graphically? How do you guys think of the game?
It looks great. Move on.
Yeah,
That's the best.
Nobody even disagrees on that. It looks great.
Well, let's just go down the line and like talk about our likes and dislikes because I have a whole bunch of notes written down.
Yeah,
you start. You start.
All right, cool. So what I liked about the game, I thought the hand-to-hand combat was decent. I didn't feel like it proved too much, but I liked it, especially Abby's part, because Abby was just a beast. Like she was just running through the infected like it was nothing. So I definitely liked her portion of hand-to-hand combat a lot more. The new weapons were cool, and again, we mentioned that Abby's weapons were much more cooler, but the fact that she didn't have a knife was just that didn't make any sense. The game looked gorgeous. We already mentioned that. Me personally, I love revenge stories. I didn't know that it was going to be a revenge story inside of a revenge story, so I did like it. But again, the pacing was just the pacing was just way too much. Like I said, just all those flashbacks going forward and going back, and then going to Abby's part and going back to Ellie's part. It got old. It was fine at first, but it ended up getting way too old. And I did like Abby's intentions. Like once we really get into like her full story, it made sense. It made perfect sense why she did what she did. Especially after not only Jill killing her dad, but Ellie killing Owen and Mel. Like that was important too. So it was like, what else is she supposed to do? Like it was crazy how she even got to the point where she spared Ellie and Tommy not once but twice, my nigga, twice.
Even though we thought Tommy died, but
I don't know.
Again, this is my opinion. So let me finish. So things that I dislike, again, the way that the story ended, I was like, bro, how are you going to get to the end? You got spared a second time, Ellie. Go live your fucking life. I don't care how many nightmares that you have. You got to be out your damn mind to go after her again.
You don't support the troops.
Nah, bro. Okay, she had PTSD. She had PTSD, fine, but you got to be out your mind. Like you were defeated by this burly ass chick. Yeah, like so that didn't make sense. I was like, no, we're not going back out there. Okay, we're going back out there. And then at the end, she was like, yeah, fight me. Like it was dumb, bro. And then I got it spoiled for me too because some little bitch ass nigga in my chat made his name a spoiler. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So that it got ridiculous
for you.
They actually spoiled that the Ellie didn't kill Abby.
See?
I actually think it would have been better after you stormed the house and you found Abby on the cross. If she would have just freed her and then like they had like a conversation, I feel like that would have been a better way to be like revenge is bad. But she choked the bitch out and then let her live. I'm like, what was the point of that?
Ellie lost 2 fingers.
I felt like her being on the cross was a more humanizing thing to see. Like, damn, she fucked up. I can't fight this bitch. Like, I'm gonna let that shit go.
No muscles, nigga. She was.
Let JG finish.
Like that,
let JG finish.
That's the crazy thing about it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, let him finish.
Yeah, but she had a moment and still ended up like I said, it was whack. I didn't like this.
I don't care how mad I am at somebody. If I see you beat the fuck up on a cross, I'm gonna let that shit go. I don't believe someone's gonna choke somebody out in the ocean over it. Come on, dog.
Exactly. You went all the way to a whole nother island. You're in hostile
parents,
territory.
though, or your pseudo parent though. Like you capping.
It was still crazy.
Bro, that's his opinion,
hold on.
It was so crazy.
JJ,
let me continue with the rest of my dislikes. I feel like the game mechanics were not really innovative. It looked cool at first when we were seeing the previews. Oh, she can jump, or oh, she can swim now, but it wasn't really innovative. Like let's keep it real, because that should have been in the game from the first one. The increased emphasis on Abby, even though I did like Abby's story once playing with her, I feel like they emphasized her a little bit too much. So I didn't really like that. The unnecessary sex things, but because they humanized her a little bit too much. Again, I understand it was a revenge story inside of a revenge story, but I feel like we spent a little bit too much time on her. Like I felt like if you were going to
why they did that?
Well, to make her to humanize her, first of all, but
because they had to. This is one of the problems where I was like, all right, they should have killed Joel maybe later down the line of the game, because now they did the evil deed that she did. Now they have to win everybody over. They're basically going uphill on making everybody just trying to love this character. So now they're doing all this like lovey-dovey shit that she had.
I got you. I agree with that. I agree with that. I think one of the most important parts, and I don't know if anybody else is going to mention this, the fact that Ellie in all of these flashbacks, when she found out what Joel did, she had hate in her heart for this dude. Oh, yeah. I understand that that's a father figure at this point, and he feels like you're a daughter to him. But the fact that you were still like so upset, okay, yeah, he died in front of you, and you had PTSD, for a long ass time. But like the way that you were acting towards him, like it would seem like you wouldn't want to go on this revenge mission. And that's
no. See, this is why I hate that they put it at the last scene.
Yep.
Because she ends up.
A lot of people didn't peep that last scene.
Yeah.
The last scene is literally the entire theme of the game.
Why she's doing it?
When Ellie and Joel talk, and she's like,
but what did she say? What did she say?
I'm about to tell you. She said, I don't think I can ever forgive you,
but I'm trying.
I'm gonna try.
Right. She was about to forgive, and now Abby stole that from her.
That means just that though. She's going to try. Did you hear the rest? Because you didn't mention the fact that she said, "Oh, you took that from me. You took the fact that I could have died. I could have died to save
before.
My life hadn't mattered."
That conversation happened before she said, "I think I'm gonna try and forgive you."
Yeah, because
that was during it.
That was
during the same scene. That was before
that was the same scene, but before she had said, "I want to forgive you."
I got that, but still the fact that she said that, I was like, "What the fuck? Like, why are you mad that he saved your life?" I understand that that possibly
because she was down for the squad, man.
To save the world.
You think about it. Understand? She knows. Imagine you grow up.
Joel took her purpose away,
and you know, like, okay, the world isn't that great anyway because we live in an apocalypse. But my death can literally stop this whole thing. I'm a martyr. Like,
fuck that nigga. I ain't dying for them.
No, she thought she was the
chosen. A real 21% right now.
Because they all white, bro. Some of them. It is black people.
We weren't gonna live. All the guys died.
Can we list humanity? Because you see how they die in that world.
Outweigh the needs of the few.
But again, I want to emphasize that it was a chance. It was not guaranteed. If it was 100% guaranteed, okay, I understand.
No, they kind of implied that it was
no risk, no reward, though.
Right.
No, they kind of implied that it was like probably gonna work.
It was going to work.
It was going to work.
Yeah, but anyway, that's my opinion. I'm obviously the unpopular one. I didn't like it.
Can we just go by the list first?
The very last that I disliked was the game. I didn't like the open world. I'm sorry. I didn't like the open world aspect. I feel like this game should not have been open world.
All right.
Because I got lost a lot of times. I feel like it should have been way more linear like the first one.
If the game wasn't open world, at best I would have gave it a 7. But because it was, I had to knock more points down the joint.
Oh, their score sound crazy, bro. Oh man.
Whatever. We're gonna get into that score later. Just
anyway,
to add something on to JG, like why we gotta knock a point down. I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about in terms of the innovation part in the gameplay. Like this is Naughty Dog. This is supposed to be one of our GOAT studios, and like this, they put them on the same level as what like CD Projekt Red or like Respawn, and like I feel like the lack of innovation anywhere, just something new, cool, unique in the gameplay has to be. It's like going to see LeBron play and he puts up 15. Now, if I put up 15 in the league, that's great. But when LeBron puts it up, it's not that great. And LeBron came and put up 15, and that's what I feel like when I played the last of the 2.
You think
LeBron got put up 30.
That's one of the top?
Oh god.
I think JG hit most of them. I like the hand-to-hand. The shooting took a little adjusting to get used to. I mean, adjustment.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed Abby's part more than Ellie's, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I was actually confused to why people hated Abby so much. Like, I completely understood her
emotional
decisions.
attachment. That's why.
I think that's weird. Y'all niggas is emotional attachment.
I don't think it was emotional attachment.
No, bro, there was emotional attachment. What?
A lot of people were like, "Oh my god, Joel, I can't believe it."
Right, they were emotionally attached.
That's the only thing that can make sense out of this. It's
what I hated about that though, TBH, is because they give you those moments with Abby because once again they're trying to win you over. But my thing is, I don't like Abby as almost a character. I like the moments I had with her, if that makes sense. I wasn't indifferent about her character. I just enjoyed playing as her, like her action sequences is what I'm saying. But I agree with you. I'm indifferent about her character.
Yeah, I don't really like her character, but yes, I enjoyed her moments.
Gotcha. All right, go ahead. Continue. Anything else to get CBH?
I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go.
Well, I was just gonna say, I feel like Abby's way more interesting than any of the side characters that Ellie was with. To be completely honest with you, like,
you ain't like Jesse?
I don't think
Country Boy Jesse.
I didn't even remember his name. Like, so.
What about Dina?
You talking about Jesse?
Yeah, Jesse.
Bro, Jesse got popped, and I could care less.
Yeah, I literally didn't care.
I feel bad. I felt bad.
I felt bad for Jesse.
He got his girl stolen away from him.
He did put his girl to he did the girl.
At least he dropped off a jit before he died.
He did.
So it's not the end of his story.
Hey, shout out to JJ. Shout out to JJ.
The AI was terrible. That's one that I had. At least for me.
No, AI. I think I want to say, the AI that was on your side, because I like the enemies, how they reacted to when you're like, when you're shooting and then you gotta reload. They're like, oh, he's reloading, rush his ass.
I like that.
Yeah, the enemy.
Chaos, go with your list too. By the way, go ahead. Pros and cons.
Well, I don't want to repeat, but I agree with TBH with the AI. One thing that I didn't, it wasn't bad, but it was just sometimes not consistent, was the cover system. Like when I'm going to the left, it won't switch the camera, and it won't go into cover. So that was like one of the things I did notice. We talked about flashbacks. We talked about this. Oh, towards the end, I felt like I was having whiplash. Like Anon said it. You thought it was gonna end, and then it didn't. And then you have this this moment when she was gonna get her revenge, but then she doesn't, and then she goes back to the farm, and then she doesn't want to do it, and then the next night she goes, and then she gets there, and then she doesn't want to do it, and then she does want to do it, and then at the end she doesn't want to do it. That's what the ending was. I was like, yo, turn the game off, dog.
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm trying really hard to think of like things that I liked and disliked about the gameplay, and to be honest, like nothing stood out to me, and that's a problem in itself.
Like there was just I won't say that. I was going through the motions.
The AI was decent enough. It was him.
Bro, I got clips of Dana standing right next to the enemy and nothing. Listen, bro,
I told you that was you. You were just fucking up in that game, to be completely honest.
Okay.
Damn, he said.
You can't play. I'm just keeping it 1,000 with you, bro. You can't play the game. I watched
it. Did you see the clip of what Dina was doing? And you saying that's my fault, not the program.
I'm keeping it 1,000. Yo, listen, the enemies can't see your AI companion unless you're discovered, bro.
That is
like
true.
I'm telling you, that
is true.
I think he's more mad about, well, at least with my AI too, she would never like fight back, and the moments I really need her to. Like, I have clips upon clips.
I would be getting flanked from the left, and she'd be on the left, and I'm shooting right. She will not cover me. I'm like, why are you here?
What difficulty did you play it on?
Normal.
They don't really help you in normal, bro. There's a whole bunch of parameters.
I don't like that. I don't like that excuse.
That's not a valid.
I'm not doing all that.
That's not a valid excuse.
But it was right there, right when you click.
So why is AI good in other games then?
Right when you click on moderate, it's like.
But
all right,
that is always the recommended difficulty. Whatever they put it on, that's exactly
what the
I'm gonna play.
developers want the average person to use.
I was gonna say A9. I played it on normal, but I didn't have that issue when it comes to the AI. I felt like the AI was effective. There was time Dina was tripping, but I wasn't like too mad about it. But I also do agree with you when you said that it depends on how you play. It really depends on how you play and what the situation is. That's just what it is. So
we'll say 50-50. We'll agree to disagree.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Go ahead, because Chaos, you're done with your pros and cons. So A9 can go on.
I want to, because we've been conning it all the time. But yeah, we said graphics, it was good. I know some of us don't like the stealth, or it was whatever, but the stealth moments were pretty intense for me.
Oh yeah. Agreed.
Action moments were really good. One of the best moments I had was with Abby with the, what was it called, the hunters.
Mm-hmm. No, you
when
talking about
in the woods.
Oh, you talking about the Seraphites or the scars?
Yeah,
that sniper scene was pretty dope too.
Yo,
that whole sniper, their moments in the game are good, and the enemies, but it's nothing I said story wise was on my positive, but that's pretty much it.
Okay, gotcha. Anon, pros and cons, sir.
Abby's part of the story, whether you like Abby as a character or not, was fucking fire.
Okay.
She turned up. Like when you were in the woods at night and the infected are coming after you, and you have these crazy like religious cult people, like, yo, that shit was hard. When she's in the hospital and you have to fight that huge infected,
yo, that was crazy.
Patches a clicker, that was crazy.
Yeah, her moments.
The only thing that was confusing about Abby to me is she had them big ass biceps and triceps, and there was a lot of moments where she was getting manhandled, and that kind of confused me. I'm like, so is she stronger now?
What are you talking about, though?
Yeah, when she get manhandled.
There were definitely moments where she was getting pushed around for me, and I'm like, or like the punches felt like
when though? When? Because only time I've ever seen
gameplay, I can't.
Yeah, because
that's you.
Because
there was literally a scene. I think the group was called the Scars, the one with the hoods or whatever, where like she slid in, and then dude jumped on top of her, and like it was like she couldn't do anything. The dude was like skinny and scrawny, like she was bigger than him.
She got jumped.
I didn't understand why she couldn't. Nah, bro, you could use leverage to move left and right and get him off.
What scene are you talking about? Because the only time she was only like overpowered is when dudes jumped her. Like when you had the rattlers towards the end, when you had the Scars in the woods, like there was multiple people on her. When she was 1-on-1 catching a fade, them shoulders were getting put to work. So what are you talking about?
Well, Clickers, and Clickers manhandled her in cutscenes like a lot.
That too, and they don't. And I asked the chat specifically. I was like, "Yo, do clickers have super strength?" And everybody was like, "No." So that confused me. But there was a scene. There was a scene where a dude like jumped her and.
Clickers are
strong. Clickers are strong.
I thought they didn't have super strength.
No, they're strong. They're strong.
They're just aggressive. I thought
they're like zombies.
But they're strong because you have to understand they have no their
pain
control. Exactly.
They just go.
So they go full force no matter what.
Yeah.
They will run into a wall.
Just crackheads.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It was just a couple things. It wasn't like I wanted to. It was like, what's the word? It wasn't rampant. It's a couple times where I was like, okay. She came across as a little weak, I guess.
I
mean, how buff she was.
Yeah, she was. I mean, but she's still a buff. She's still a buff woman, you know.
But then on the flip side, it felt like Ellie was just kicking so much ass. That and she's like a stick.
Well, Ellie's fast. That's the whole thing behind that. And she uses. And
oh
she
my
uses
god!
her.
I don't care how fast you are. You punch me, it's not gonna hurt.
Well, she was stabbing.
She was stabbing. That's why.
She had that
that's why I thought it was funny. She was stabbing. She wasn't hitting.
Stab. But go ahead.
Was there any? I want to ask real quick. Was there any new weapons that Ellie got from this game?
Yes, at the end when she got the it was the machine, like the machine gun.
With the silencer. It was SMG.
Yeah, SMG with the silencer at the end.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she got the MP5 silence.
Yeah.
Oh, so nothing.
The game, but yeah, Abby's section as far as my pros, I really like that shit. I thought even the skyscraper, that was great.
That was a good scene.
I thought the lore between, like I said, the Seraphites and the Wolves, I thought that was great.
Yep.
Dislikes, if we're gonna go from a story perspective, I thought it was kind of weird that they just introduced these like like wannabe Firefly slavers or some
At
shit.
the end.
That was a
Yeah,
rattle. That was
yeah,
a rattlers.
Rattlers.
But
I mean, but I just kind of chalk that up to y'all
The
are all the way
world.
in California, and you don't know what the fuck is going on over here because ain't no social media or communication like that. You're just kind of going off of rumors.
Right.
So it could have been this whole other group that's doing their own thing, and you got no idea. So like, I was able to forgive it, but it was just kind of like weird. I thought, yeah, I do think the way that Abby was allowed to live at the end was a little bit weird. It could have been done a little bit better. Like, I think Ellie showed that she wanted to let her go after she saw her like crucified like that, but she just couldn't let go. That's why when she would get on the boat, she had them flashbacks and blah blah blah, and she was like, "Fuck, like I can't do it. I already came all the way
Pride.
out here. I'm all
Pride.
bloodied
Which was
up."
dumb
Like,
because she ends up losing.
yeah, exactly.
yeah, but once again, that's what caused her to go out there also caused her to stop.
True.
What do you?
True.
You
No,
know,
no,
which
no, it's true.
which
It's
was
true.
wrong.
Okay, so it's the guilt and the PTSD and everything like that with Joel that makes her go out there, but the same thing.
Okay, I'll give you that, but she
alive
would have
now.
bit off her fingers like not even 3 minutes ago. Out of pain and anger, I would have killed her.
It could have been handled a little bit differently for sure. But like I said,
Absolutely.
but I mean, shit, this isn't Ellie's first or last injury, bro. Like she
Bro.
was just
Bro,
stabbed. Like
alright.
she's been through a whole bunch of shit.
She's
So
gonna
like
go through a
I
whole
don't know.
bunch. Last
Like
story.
she, and
Bro,
background,
she
grew up
win.
in the apocalypse.
She
Alright.
went through all of that and then lost her girl and the son at the like. What
And her
Wait,
fingers.
but that was-
was it worth it?
No.
That was her fault.
Can we talk about the baby dancing scene in the house? Because that was honestly one of the most cringiest things I've ever seen in gaming.
Well, I don't think I even saw that scene.
What?
Oh yeah,
Thank
they were
you.
hugging up on each other and they just started dancing like.
Oh, when she was getting
Oh,
behind
yeah,
that
yeah,
ass.
yeah.
You talk
Yeah,
about
that shit
you
was
talk about
cringy.
A lot of the intimate moments were kind of
ending part
Not gonna
2.
lie.
That was ending number 2 right there.
I ain't gonna put that on negative. I
Nah,
was be like,
I'm
no,
just it was
Yeah, it's
just
just-
whatever.
yeah, it's just one of those things,
It was Naughty Dog's way of just being like, oh, they're trying to, now the baby's born, they're trying to, make life
happy
normalize. But then Ellie
Right.
just, falls right back in the trap when you thought the game was over. And then, hey, Tommy with his eye or whatever was like, hey, let's
which
go
is
get
so
her.
fucking
No,
stupid.
no,
What
that's
do you mean?
Tommy.
Tommy. Yeah, we
Once
thought.
again, this
wait,
is
no,
one
no,
of those
please,
things
please.
where again the game does like, all right, let's get our revenge. Oh no, never mind. Okay, let's get our revenge. Okay, never mind. Tommy does that same.
I left my
Tommy
wife.
does the same
No.
shit.
All right, so please explain how Tommy does the same shit.
Dog.
Because towards the end where he wants to get the revenge, I'm like, all right, I kind of I understand that now he wants to get the revenge, but now like she's out here not wanting to do it. In the beginning, you didn't want her to do it, and now what?
Okay,
now
so
that
That
changed.
happened twice,
All
actually.
right, so in the beginning, he didn't want her to go after Abby.
Exactly, he
wanted to go
didn't want
after
her
Joel.
to do it, just like
He
Joel
wanted
didn't
him-
want to.
He wanted himself to go after her because he was like, "Yo, I can't let Ellie do it. Like that's my brother. That's my brother. No, even though that was her like father figure, that's my blood brother, nigga. So
Right.
I'm gonna do this, and I'm not gonna get Ellie killed. That's what I thought that was, and that makes a lot of sense because he was like, "Nah,
Yeah,
don't
that
do
makes
that."
sense.
He just dipped out.
But
When he got caught and he got shot and everything like that, when they all got back to Jackson, he's like, "Fuck, now this bitch killed my brother. She's handicapped me. I don't have my wife. I'm blind. I'm upset. Like, fuck it at this point. Like, he's probably was like, Ellie, you have to finish it."
I think
Like,
it was just
it
one of
was
those.
just-
But I
it
just don't
wasn't
like
just
it because
anger.
it's been months or it's been a year, and I could say that because Dina has had the
baby.
kid, and
he's
we
older.
when we found out she was only like 2-3 weeks in,
Yeah. It was
so
just
it's
one of
been
those.
some time.
It was
Yeah,
just-
it's been time, but that's not gonna go away. You can't be like
I'm glad you
still
said that
have-
it didn't go away. Because at the end, when she didn't kill Abby, I'm
She-
still like, yo, what the fuck?
right.
once again, it's the difference. That's his blood brother, and Tommy is a different nigga than.
You
than
can't have
Ellie.
it
No,
two
look,
ways.
look, look.
Tommy,
So,
no, because there's nothing in the
They
story
both
that
have to
says
kill her,
Tommy
bro.
is a nigga that's gonna forgive. There's nothing in the.
I could
Right,
also
right,
argue, wasn't Tommy the younger brother too?
Yeah.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
it's usually proven that the youngest sibling is the loose cannon too.
But he-
like Joel was like his father figure.
Nah,
So like when his
exactly.
brother died, like Anon said, he's not the same person. He's more likely to go kill somebody.
No, it completely
No, I
understandable.
agree.
But
I wanted him to go kill her. But then when he didn't, I was like, all right, whatever.
He's gonna
it
drag his little crippled ass there and ask her to finish the job. You a piece of shit.
It was the thing. The Chaos's whole point was the back and forth that Tommy did. Y'all mentioned 2 of them, but when they're
not so much Tommy. It's at the end where he forces Ellie to do it, and Ellie feels bad even after months of not doing it.
But he didn't force Ellie to do it though. Ellie was already having
bro. He put that bug in her ear.
He was very persuasive.
He put that because he got aggressive when she was like, "Nah, I'm not trying to do it." And Dina had to talk with him in the front porch. Was like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing?" Like,
yeah. Once again, this is his brother, and now he's crippled, and he just got to spend the rest of his life. His wife left him. He has to spend the rest of his life basically being like, "Yo, I failed. My brother died, and I couldn't get revenge, and now I'm even more fucked up." Like, yo, when people are hurt, they say fucked up shit to other people they love. Like, are y'all crazy? Have you never dealt with anybody that's dealing with grief?
No, I'm not gonna lie, like. Around this time, my damn near mentally checked out, and I'm mentally checking out of this damn conversation.
All right, so let me go ahead and finish the pros and the cons.
I just the part where Abby was about to kill Ellie and she didn't, I mentally checked out, and it's kind of like this conversation. I was like, all right, this game ain't it.
I got you. Let me finish. Let me do my pros and let me get my pros and cons, and then we can go ahead and give it a score.
I love it, and I kill them. That's it.
Is that
like I appreciate it because I wasn't done it. So I'm just keeping it 1,000. So. Like
that's fine.
My last little bit, fucking, I applaud Naughty Dog for trying to do something different because all other revenge stories.
No, it was risky.
No, it was risky, but
it's the same thing with the end of the first story. Like, Joel should have left Ellie there, and that should have been it. But they did something different, and they subverted expectations because they were trying to show what a nigga would do for love, and this is what someone will do for hate. But the overall theme is you have to learn to forgive. Period.
Okay. All right. My pros and cons.
Hold on. So you acknowledge the ending. The moral of the story is revenge is bad and forgiveness is good. That's the moral of the story, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I don't want to say this person's name because I don't want them to think they're important. But they sent me a whole novel on Twitter. Congratulations to you. I closed my Twitter DMs because of you. Well, not just you, but a bunch of other people sending me stupid shit. This dude made this whole argument that the story was not deep. Thank you for confirming that, Anon. Trying to act like I wasn't paying attention just because I didn't enjoy it as much as you does not make it deep. This shit was not deep.
The first game story wasn't deep. I don't know why.
I would read it because the Twitter, these niggas seen the Twitter messages. I took a screenshot. It's a novel for everybody.
They think the same writers from Uncharted is fucking deep. All right.
I would read it on this fucking review, but then the review would be another 2 hours. So I'm not gonna read it. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, just leave it.
You need to stop sending me messages. This game is not deep.
Look, all right. So pros and cons. Sorry, jeez, man. All right, so y'all pretty much hit the everything for the pros, but I would like to throw out there that the attention to detail in this game was fantastic. And when you had the what was it, the infected, what was it, the stealths, what were they called, like the ones that were like they hid in a wall, and if you stalkers, I thought that was so
I hated
dope.
all the new infected.
I thought that was really cool, and I commend Naughty Dog for putting attention to detail on that. If you actually play the game, like, all right, like if you in real life, you ain't trying to just run around and everything like that and get like yoked up. You try to play it stealth wise, and then if you look at the walls, you're like, hold up, something don't look right.
That attention to detail when Ellie killed Shorty, the queen.
Yeah.
What was her name? That was part of the black woman. I loved her. She was fast as fuck.
Nora.
Nora. Yeah, that shit was brutal. I was like, damn, I gotta kill this fucking black woman. That attention to detail.
She went crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
I wanted to kill her.
She was out here
about Joel. I was like, all right.
Nah. She
really had to run.
She had to burn.
Listening to Ice Cube.
Yeah, she was out. She was out here. But I just want to say the attention to detail was really, really cool. I also do think that as far as how gory the game was, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. It was very gruesome. There were some legit like moments, and I was like, all right, Naughty Dog, I see you,
baby.
That Joel's leg, boy. And then I will also say for pros, because I don't think any of you guys brought it up, I actually like the Washington Liberation Front and the Seraphites and that story between them. And then that one, like, in Abby's side, that had the better gameplay in my opinion, because she uses Game Reflex workouts. You see her shoulders. I did that. the whole fire scene, when you get to that island, you got to sit there and was like, yo, that looked gorgeous. I was like, that actually was a great part in the story. Some people say, oh, it's a side mission. No, it shows what was the Washington Liberation Front and the Seraphites were going against. And then my con, because everyone else already had it, ending 2 and 3, the pacing. And I think that we got so used to playing The Last of Us on the PS4 because the Last of Us PS4 remastered was at 60 FPS. So when we were shooting and everything like that, everything kind of seemed kind of off because on this game it's at 30 frames. But then,
oh yeah, thank you. 30 FPS.
Yeah, the 30 FPS was.
You and I can't see more than 30. Relax, guys.
No. But
and that sounds funny, right? But that's what people believe. Like 10 years ago.
I know. But the thing, I know. But the thing was that we got so used to it because a lot of people forget The Last of Us came out on the PS3. Then we get The Last of Us remastered on the PS4. And another thing that I have to say, even though they said they're gonna put it later on, which most likely is gonna end up being on the PS5, and some of us might double dip, is the multiplayer. I have to dock it.
Double dipping for that shit.
You say that now, and then if because the multiplayer is actually
the
multiplayer was really good in the first one. I'm not gonna.
They better give a free upgrade.
No. I'm not gonna rebuy it. Hell no. But I'll play it if it comes out.
Yeah,
free upgrade.
If it comes out, so you're gonna boot up your PS4?
Oh yeah, I'll play it. I'm not rebuying it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna boot up your PS4 and play the multiplayer if it's on the PS5 and the multiplayer.
If it's only on the PS4, no.
Okay,
PS4?
that's what I'm saying because I don't know if they're gonna.
If it's still 30 FPS, no.
Exactly, like the PS5 version is gonna be 60 and it's gonna be multiplayer.
2 is already gonna be able to be played on PS5. I think they already said that in Cyberpunk.
Oh, backwards compatibility, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, but anyways, that was a con at 30 FPS. I think it played a role, and sorry, the pro again combat and the counter system was awesome. Now, can we go through the list and give a official GI review score so we can go ahead and get mad dislikes on this video because I already know the dislikes is going to be crazy.
Fuck them.
I mean, you're at the top. You start. Give your shit.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm actually, as much as I didn't like the ending and like that ending fighting sequence when they were all super skinny and bloody and whatnot, because it kind of kept me in the story for the most part besides the pacing, I give the game an 8. I give it an 8. It took a lot. It took a lot out of me emotionally. I felt some type of way about it, but I enjoyed my gameplay of it. I enjoyed the fact that, you know, when I did go through the looting and when I was going around and upgrading parts and gears and everything like that, the notes and the attention to detail and just looking at the mini stories of like all the letters between certain people within the shops and the store. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, that there's one character in particular, like side character, that had notes all over the world during
yeah, didn't care.
And I thought it was actually really awesome. So I give the game an 8 overall.
I'd actually knock points because most of those notes in the game were completely pointless and did nothing. The only time the notes were cool was when you read something and then something happened afterwards. Like it actually pertained to the story. Most of that shit was pointless, and that's why I would knock it.
But that's my opinion, so I give it an 8. So since you're talking, what's yours?
Yeah, you said I love the game.
Nah, Anon next.
Okay, Anon.
We're going down the list.
You know, basically, I would just like to say that I was right. Niggas was hating. Gameplay was decent. Story was simple, easy to understand. I mean, like I said, it's just a sequel. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't think it was terrible. I think it was solid. So like, game's like a solid 7.5.
Okay, 7.5. All right. Chaos.
Put that in the calculator.
I got it. I'm doing it.
No, I got it.
Okay. Chaos.
Okay. As much as I hated a lot of the story in the game, like everyone said here, the gameplay was pretty solid. There's actually a lot of moments that I did like about the game, and I think I said them. Like most of the time we're playing with Abby, I did like the moments I played with Ellie. But this is like one of those situations where I wouldn't recommend it to somebody if they like are unsure about playing it. Just play it if you really, really want to play it. But I give it a 7.
Okay.
I think that's pretty fair.
TBH, go ahead and give your low score. We already know it. Go ahead, bro.
Can I explain and then give my score? I'd give this game a 5.
Let's go.
I don't care what anybody says. Listen, the reality is, and we had to take this into consideration, I don't think this game would be that big of a deal if it came out like 2-3 years after Last of Us 1. The reality is they made us wait 7 years for this, and this is what we got. I'm sorry, that Final Fantasy VII remake was fucking fire. It was worth the wait.
Did we say the bugs in this game?
Oh yeah, the game is glitchy too. I definitely ran into a handful. It was 4 or 5 times I had to restart my game.
I saw the
I was
ending
getting
one.
stuck in walls and shit.
I had one,
But
but
that seems pretty on brand for you, though.
That sounds
yeah, that was just
pretty on
typically
brand.
have a lot of issues. I didn't.
Yes,
have
but
any
I do
issues
always
like
run
that.
into the bugs. I don't know
Yeah,
why, but I did.
yeah.
He's right. I
Yeah,
did run into
that's not his fault though.
That negativity brings them bad games to you.
Don't get caught a game. I think it just wasn't worth the wait. If this game would have came out 2-3 years after the original one, and they would have made this 12 to 15 hours to get their point across, because the reality is, no matter how much some of y'all scream about how this is a 10, this game is not deep at all. It's not fucking introspective. It doesn't make me think about anything. No shit, revenge is bad. No shit, she shouldn't have did all that shit. They should have left it at the first game. The gameplay was not innovative. Was this game as bad as like some of the people that were like on Metacritic giving it 2s and shit like that? No, it was just kind of it just exists to me. It didn't make me mad. 5. What about you, Jay? I'm in the middle of the road.
I was looking for a lot more to the game. I wish that I would have known like how people will react if the leaks didn't come out, because we still are unsure, even though we've heard things. We don't know exactly, what happened. But with that being said, man, like I just feel like, again, after 7 years, the game was not innovative enough for me to give it a higher score. And then I just thought that the pacing, like once you got toward the end, it was just god awful. I did find myself engaged in the story, especially like finding out why Abby ended up doing what she did, and I did enjoy her gameplay moments. But I'm gonna have to get a game a 6.5 overall. It's definitely not game of the year. So I'm looking forward to these other 2 major games that are coming out, Ghost of Tsushima and Cyberpunk, to see what I feel. But I ain't putting The Last of Us 2 anywhere near that list.
I like a 6.5. I like that.
Well, actually, now that I averaged it out, our 5 scores divided by 5 is 6.8.
Yep.
So 6-7 range.
That
I think that's fair.
That's perfect.
That's fair.
6.8.
I think that's fair from the general consensus between us 5. I think that's fair.
There you have it.
I think that's fine. All right, you guys. So I'm sure we'll have some further debates about this in the video and streams and everything like that.
Nah, I think I'm done. I ain't talking about this shit anymore.
We appreciate everybody for coming through for the video. If you guys would like to continue to support the game Illuminaughty as a whole, why not check out our Patreon? That is patreon.com/GI updates. We have a whole bunch of awesome tiers, and you can be able to possibly be in videos just like this one, or the GI Community Podcast, or even a big GI podcast with TBH, Ethos, and JG. Also, be sure to go check out our merch, and feel free to go ahead and check out all the GI affiliated podcasts. Everybody has some awesome content. There'll be links down in the description box below. We appreciate you guys for coming through for your for the review. Feel free to go ahead and comment and like the video, and share it, and tell a friend to tell a friend. This has been Ace of All Trades, Anon.
Hold up. Can I just say, to all the publications that was giving this game a 10, as you can see, Real Ones talked about it. It's not a 10. But you know where you can get 10% off? Gamersubs.gg. Use code TBH at checkout, and you can get 10, baby. Let's fucking go.
If you hate on me, your bank account staying good.
Yes, I hate it. Help a nigga get paid.
All right. This has been Ace of All Trades, A9, Chaos, TheBlackHokage, and UtxJGTheDon from the game Illuminaughty. You guys stay enlightened. We out. Peace.